Welcome to an uplifting moment. Our theme, what to say about Easter. You know, I checked a list of 30 suggestions to put in an Easter greeting that were posted on the internet. The list had references to bunnies and eggs, new beginnings and spring, but no mention about Jesus and his resurrection. So I found my own list of quotes about Easter. After reading the above referenced 30 quotes, it was good to wash out my eyes reading the following quotes. The first one from Charles Spurgeon, who lived from 1834 to 1892 and was a famous English preacher. Charles Spurgeon wrote, "The resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead is one of the best attested facts on record. There were so many witnesses to behold it, that if we do in the least degree receive the credibility of men's testimonies, we cannot and we dare not doubt that Jesus rose from the dead." And then from Tim Keller, a contemporary pastor today, actually born the same year I was in 1950. He's a pastor, writer, theologian, and apologist. Tim Keller writes, "If Jesus rose from the dead, then you have to accept all that he said. If he didn't rise from the dead, then why worry about any of what he said? The issue on which everything hangs is not whether or not you like his teaching, but whether or not he rose from the dead." And then from Mark Driscoll, another contemporary pastor and author, "No one can remain neutral regarding Jesus' resurrection. The claim is too staggering, the event too earth-shaking, the implications too significant, and the matter too serious. We must either receive it or reject it as truth for us. To remain indifferent or undecided is to reject it." And now from Chuck Colson, Charles Colson, who passed away in 2012. He was an attorney and special counsel to President Nixon and was convicted and sent to prison in the Watergate scandal. In prison, he turned to Christ and founded Prison Fellowship Ministry. He writes, "I know the resurrection is a fact, and Watergate proved it to me. How? Because 12 men testified they had seen Jesus raised from the dead. Then they proclaimed that truth for 40 years, never once denying it. Everyone was beaten, tortured, stoned, and put in prison. They would not have endured that if it weren't true. Watergate embroiled 12 of the most powerful men in the world, and they couldn't keep a lie for 3 weeks. You're telling me 12 apostles could keep a lie for 40 years? Absolutely impossible." And now a quote from Billy Graham, who passed away in 2018, a world-famous evangelist. He said, "There is more evidence that Jesus rose from the dead than there is that Julius Caesar ever lived or that Alexander the Great died at the age of 33. And now one more. John Stott. He passed away in 2011. He was an English Anglican pastor, theologian, biblical scholar, and teacher. He wrote, "We live and die. Christ died and lived." And now one more quote from the scriptures themselves, from one of the historical accounts of Jesus. This is from Matthew chapter 28, verses 6 and the first part of verse 7. These are the words of an angel that was at the tomb of Jesus as he spoke to the women who had come to the tomb to anoint the body of Jesus. The scripture says, and these are the words of the angel, "He is not here. He has risen, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has risen from the dead." Thank you for joining me for this an uplifting moment, and happy Easter.